Everyone's inspired by a moment or a true calling to do a ministry of some sort. My moment has always been with the elderly. A resident named Matt had arrived at a facility in Groton, Connecticut, where I was a volunteer. He had dementia. He was in stage 2, possibly 3. He said he missed 2 things, mail and hugs. I sat and I listened to him about life. He worked at GE, where he was an airplane mechanic. He had the pleasure of meeting Amelia Earhart. Fast forward to the mid-40s, he worked at Pfizer, and he was making penicillin, and Sir Alexander Fleming toured the plant. He had the pleasure of shaking his hand and meeting him. So he made the penicillin that Alexander Fleming invented. The blue-collar worker supported a family of 3 children and his wife. We can't let this disease define the person. We have to listen. We have to listen to their stories sometimes that go on. But it shows how he was such a wonderful man. He spoke of his daughter, who was at an awkward stage of life. She had long legs and taller than most boys. He told her she could be a model and buy his cigars, he said. Well, his daughter became a nurse. She did not buy his cigars, he told me. He told me how much he loved her, and he was always willing to help her. Well, Matt was my dad. He had a life. He was a person. He was my moment. Wyndridge needs comforters and people who are willing to hold a hand, listen, visit, and pray. This disease is tough on family as well as the residents. Family just can't handle the dementia because they can't remember who you are. And it's hard. I remember the day my dad didn't recognize me. I walked out crying, but he remembered me. He didn't recognize me, but he told me the story about me. So it's okay. You really have to listen. Sometimes just a hand on their hand, a hand on their arm, a hand on their shoulder. So my husband and I have come to know Harry, a resident of Wyndridge that I initially thought was a senior worker. As it turns out, he came to the facility because another facility in another county closed. So he has no family. His friends can't come because they are his age as well. But he chooses to live on. He does not have dementia. His is medical problems. He was Santa for the residents at Wyndridge. He was Santa at the employee Christmas party. He helped push the residents' dinner tables. He cleared trays. He covered up cold residents. Everyone loves him. So, Christmas, 170 gifts, 56 dozen cookies for the residents and working staff at Christmas, Valentine's chocolates and decorations, wash baskets with towels and vase cloths for the reflections unit to fold when they need something to do, sensory boards, which is AKA busy boards my husband made for Wyndridge. The Highlanders, they sang, and one of the gentlemen who had been quiet and hadn't spoken and been nonverbal started singing with them. And it was their family, his family was there, so it made it even more special. Everybody was like crying and saying, "Oh, look, he's singing, he's speaking," So it was like, that's the moment that you know what you did was great, that you helped somebody. I think if I can express anything to our congregation, it would be you made a difference, a big difference in people's lives.